The Geographical Diversity of India, Chapter 1, Cascade. What we understand by diversity? Diversity is different between things. Like diversity in language, we speak multiple languages. Like in India, the people use Hindi, English, Kannada, Malayalam, Telugu, Marathi, Manipuri, etc. Many languages. This is called language diversity, and we can sometimes we see gender diversity, a different type of gender, and sometimes we see the cultural diversity. Different state have different area have different type of culture. So geographical diversity means the diversity in geographical features. Uh, in India, we can see multiple geographical feature like some um, in north we see Himalaya, in south we see Deccan Plateau, and coastal area. In west we see Thar Desert, and in northeast we see Goro Kashi Chandrika, hills, and in north we see Gangetic plains, and um, like Yamuna and Ganga plain and Brahmaputra plain. This type of diversity is geographical diversity, and this especially is centered to India. So geographical diversity of India. So here we see we can see a picture of Jog Fall in Karnataka. This is one of the biggest waterfall in India in Deccan Plateau. And here is word hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity means the electricity which generated by hydro means water. Hydroelectricity is simply electricity that is generating by the power of water. Here is one simple story. In 1984, Rakesh Sharma is the first Indian astronaut to go into space. Spoke with the Prime Minister of Indira Gandhi. That time Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, and she asked to him how India looks like from the sky, and he replied, "Sare jahan se acha Hindustan means better than the whole world." India. This is the so I let's so here is a view of Himalaya, aerial view, and this one also the Himalaya. Here we are going to study Himalaya is the newly formed mountain range in India. It is also world's longest range because the Mount Everest is the highest mountain on Earth's surface, and it is situated in Himalaya. Look at the length of Himalaya range on the map. It's like a massive wall. Actually, it works like a wall to protect India. In the ancient time, it also protected from war. But in modern technology, China we can see like helicopter and their fighter jets. They can cross mountain range. But in ancient time, crossing Himalaya was a difficult task because the rough conditions and the hard weather and lack of oxygen and the height. This is the very difficult to cross the Himalaya and carry luggage and weapons, and doing fight in the Himalayas is also very tough because the weather is not that much suitable. And even the resources also is not that much. So why we used to fight there? But in modern era of globalization and the lack of resources, people are also don't want to leave Himalaya and that Ladakh region, like China is fighting there with India. From the length we can guess the altitude at the different point of Himalaya. So here No, it's the Himalayas seems touched to sky. In fact, many of the peak are over 8,000 meter, like we can say K2 and Mount Everest are high and are together called the 8,000s. 8,000 because mountains which are taller than the 8,000 we call them 8,000s. This mountain range stretch across 6 countries like in Asia, in like India hai, Nepal, Bhutan, China, Pakistan, and we are sharing border with all these countries. In the summer, the snow on the mountain melt and feeds major river. We can see the river like Ganga, Sindhu, and Yamuna, and Brahmaputra. They don't uh, dry. They do not dry in summer. Even many of the southern India's river like Krishna, Kaveri get dry, but this don't because in the winter time and in the monsoon times, uh, the major snowfall is happen in the Himalaya. The snowfall store that time the water is stored in form of snow. And in summer, that increasing temperature melt that snow, and that water come into the river and feed the rivers, such as the Ganga, Indus, and Brahmaputra. He is mentioning Ganga, Indus means Sindhu, and Brahmaputra. These rivers and their tributaries provide water for drinking, farming, and industrial use. We drink that water, and farming. For farming, we use canals to bring water to the farmers or to the farm. And industrial use, for example, industrial factories also use this water for manufacturing and many other things like generating power, etc. Connecting with lives of hundreds of millions of people, as we see, as we know that most of the India's population is living in Ganga, Yamuna, and Brahmaputra plains, and the most dense population density is also in this region. Hence, the Himalayas sometimes called the water tower of Asia. Hence, the Himalayas sometimes called water tower. Why water tower? Because the Himalaya is the origin point of Brahmaputra, which is one of the largest river, and Ganga. It is the largest river in India, and Sindhu. It is, we can say, Sindhu is the backbone of Pakistan also, and it is also one of the largest river which is flowing from the India, but we use less water from it. Thus, this is the this is the water tower for Asia. Himalayas also give water to China. China made some uh, dam on this river which are flowing from Himalaya. The Himalaya also important to the many cultures and belief system. Like we see some like Buddhism, Jainism, and we see the like Dalai Lama was also from the Tibet. We can say Himalaya is good for spiritual things and spiritual activities. Like we see Kedarnath, Badrinath, and many more temples and monasteries. Here we say they are called sacred, and temple monastery have been around built with them, and attract, attracting monks and spiritual seekers from around the world who are come to pray and meditate. The Bhagirathi River, Maz, the Bhagirathi River, major tributary of Ganga, origin from the Gomukh. Gomukh is a place where the Bhagirathi River origin. It also called cow's mukh. English translation is cow's mukh. Go means cow and mukh means mouth. Cow's mouth in Uttarakhand. It is the age of the Gangotri glacier. It originates from Gangotri Glacier. This glacier is one of the largest in the Indian Himalaya. It is considered sacred and attract many pilgrims, like many people who do journeys for their religious purpose. There at Gangotri. Gangotri is also popular trekking destination. Some young people also go for trekking there. Next time you see the Ganga, remember its journey begins there. Whenever you see the Ganga, remember that the origin from the Ganga, how Himalaya was formed. An interesting story we see later in the time. Uh, that time there is only one continent on the earth. We can see here that was Gondwana land. Later that divided into multiple parts, and one of that part was India. And India here was the Asia, and India collided with Asia. And due to that action, Himalaya formed. Himalaya is folded mountain because when two plates collide with each other, they form like this shape and make folded mountain. When they push each other, like plates push each other, then their front side, the collision side get folded, and thus the folded mountain become like this. Like one plate is here and other plate is also here. We say here. This is like this. And we can call it, this is the we can say that this is the folded mountain. Thus the folded mountain become. The Himalaya are broadly categorized into three main ranges. The Himadri Himalaya, the greatest Himalaya, are the highest and most rugged range, home of towering peaks like Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, and region. This region mostly snow covered, and life is tough. And then come Achal Himalaya, the lowest Himalaya. It's also south to the Greater Himalaya, and here are some hill stations such as Nainital, Darjeeling in West Bengal, Simla in Himachal Pradesh, and Masuru in Uttarakhand. Then comes Shivalik. This is the outer Himalaya, and this is the first range when we go from plain to Himalaya. Or when we enter in Himalaya, then the first range will come, which is Shivalik. From the outermost and lowest range, consisting the rolling hill and dense forest, these foothills are rich in wide form series transition between the Himalaya and Gangetic plains, also northern plains. Here we see some traditional house construction made of it's made with wood and stone. It prevents this house from earthquake. When earthquake comes, that the collaboration or the mixture of the wood and stone observe shock wave of the earthquake and don't let the house to fall. It keeps safe and long last. You can say long life. Here are some species which are found in Himalaya. Here we can see a good view of some national park. Here we see houses and one residential area in Ladakh. The bird, the forest, and the snow leopard, and the trees and forest and some woods. Cold desert of India. The cold desert of India is Ladakh. The desert means a region where the rainfall is less than the requirement. It doesn't mean that desert should be hot. Desert can be hot or cold. The requisite is only the less water or less water fall than the requisites are required. Here we can see that temperature can go minus 30 degrees Celsius. Even in India, we can see Sonam Wangchu's one of the environmental activists and scientists and the researcher of India, which is researching and making situation better in Ladakh. This is rocky, tan and deep valley. This is also important in India for star view because the very less light pollution is there in Ladakh because the population density is very low and the traffic and the road light is we can say is just few or not. Thus it is also covered by mountains surrounding, and thus this area is not zero but near to zero light pollution. So this place is very useful for researching of this study astro activities. We can say a star and planet and other galaxies we can study there, and we can see there some the rare astronomic activities and a beautiful view. Here is a lake called Pangong Lake. It is not drinkable water because this is salt water lake. Here is a lake, but in desert, and it is salt water, so it is not helpful or drinkable to the people who live there. We ended here.